Hey guys, what's up? Nullrage here, taking a look at Star-Lord on the test center. I apologize for the delay on this video. The test center's been sort of in a state where not everything was done yet. It is test center, after all, but it's been a little bit more testy than most times. Anyway, finally getting around to making a video for Star-Lord. And first thing we should do is go over his costumes and his synergies. His default costume will be this one that you're seeing right now, the blue and white. That's his Conquest costume. And then he will also launch with the Star-Lord Guardians of the Galaxy movie costume. This is my personal favorite and probably the one I'm going to be rocking. Now, his synergies, if I hit the right buttons, are pretty nice. Level 25, 2% energy power crit chance, and level 50, the same again, 2% energy power crit chance. This is very similar to Moon Knight over here, who has the same synergy for physical damage. So, energy users, you're going to want to level up Star-Lord. It's going to be awesome. Alright, so let's hop in and have a look at his skills. The first one in the tree, he's got 3 trees here: Cosmic Outlaw, Starship Commander, Elemental Gun. This one's really complex, so we'll leave that one for last. We'll start with the Cosmic Outlaw, which is very straightforward, mostly gun powers. Snapshot for skill in the tree, a little bit of extra crit rating on this, and a very high attack speed. The crit rating goes up as you put points into the skill. The attack speed remains the same. It's just a basic ranged attack. I should note here that the costume you're using has different guns and different sound effects, so that's cool. And that of course applies to all of his gun powers except Elemental Gun. I think they're the same. Anyway, next up we've got Jet Dash, which refreshes the cooldown of all grenade powers. We'll get into, he's got 2 grenades here. We'll go over those in a second, but here's what Jet Dash looks like. I really like it. I think they did well with this animation. Alright, next up we've got Cryo Grenade. Energy damage, freeze duration, slow, weaken, 3-second cooldown. Of course, Jet Dash will reduce that cooldown. Pretty cool.
Right in the sweet spot. I need to charge up first.
So, looks like 1 grenade, 2 dashes. 1 grenade, 2 dashes. Be a pretty nice combo there if you're looking to do the grenade cooldown thing. Next up we've got Close Quarters. This is going to be Star-Lord's one and only melee ability. Everything else is tagged as ranged or not tagged as either melee or ranged. Let's have a look at it. It's gonna deal some initial energy damage, or first off, can be activated up to 5 times within 8 seconds. So this is not gonna be a, you spam it or whatever, but it's gonna work similar to, I guess Nightcrawler's signature or something, or ooh, that's a better version. Moon Knight and his signature. It's going to be very similar to Moon Knight's signature, except it won't have that scaling damage at the end. It'll just be a straight up 5-hit thing. Energy damage, it's got an execute mechanic on it as well, and it will also reduce damage you take by 15% for 2 seconds after each activation. Probably each activation of it will give you that damage negated boost. Reduce the cooldown of Close Quarters by 1 second when you hit with a ranged power. Alright, so Close Quarters. Now currently, I think this is test center, so it's probably a bit bugged, but that 5th hit doesn't seem to work. I'm hitting 4 times, but you can see there reducing the cooldown when you hit with a range power. It had a 5th activation but didn't work. That was weird. Alright, the next skill in the tree is Spartoi Grit. Have your Spartoi... I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't even know. Have your Spartoi heritage makes you a naturally rugged, brutal combatant. Sorry, the dog's barking. Anyway, activate to cleanse and become immune to negative effects for a time. 10% damage negated passive effect. Just at all times? That's awesome. Wow. That's amazing. Alright, and then also defense rating and dodge. Here's the scaling on that real quick. That's just a permanent, completely passive 10% damage negated. That's very strong. Alright, and it's also your CC breaker. You're guaranteed to want 1 point in this for sure. You know, I always put 1 point in all passives, but heck, I might be putting more into there. The defense and dodge scaling is pretty nice. If you're playing melee, you'll definitely want to look into that skill. Next up, we've got Empty the Clips, dealing some energy damage, high fire rate, and increased damage against elites and bosses. This is going to be your single target spirit spender boss killer thing. Let's have a look. No, hey, get out of the way. That's pretty cool. Alright, next up we've got Gravity Grenade. Toss a gravitational disruption grenade that pulls enemies in and immobilizes them, dealing some energy damage and a immobilization duration of 2 seconds. The immobilized duration does go up with points put in the skill. The cooldown again is 3 seconds and is reduced by Jet Dash. Here's what that looks like. Very cool. The animation sounds on that are very, very well done. Alright, next up we've got Suppressing Fire. Very similar to one of Punisher's skills. A little bit wider area of effect though. Sets the blasters to auto and just lets the bullets fly, or I guess in this case it might be energy beams. That's very cool. Probably one of my favorite abilities. Oh, never mind. I just changed my mind because we're about to get to the Starship commander tree. This one's awesome. Alright, first let's actually go over jet flight before we get into anything, because I want to be in the air right now. Now, in my opinion, the animation for this is a little bit stiff, but it's still pretty cool. Blast off with his jet boots. Alright, now let's talk about the ability to call in attacks from your spaceship. Command the Milano to fire a cluster bomb of incendiary warheads to target location, engulfing everything within a burning firestorm. Energy, damage, and a dot over time. There's a scaling on that dot. The area duration is 10 seconds. The cooldown is 8. So the duration is actually longer than the cooldown. Very nice. Allowing you to keep that dot up permanently. Now, note the dot does not stack. So even though you can overlap the dots, you cannot get stacking damage. Next up, we've got Strafe. Direct the Milano to secure an area with deadly strafing run. Straight up energy damage. Very cool. Next up, Backpedal. Energy damage and a stun. Basic jump back. Hey, a little bit of lag there. Let's try that again. Next up, we've got... we went over Jet Flight. We were already in the air. Starship Uplink, the passive in the tree. You have a direct uplink to the Milano, giving you detailed targeting overlays and access to her ordnance reserves. Refresh the cooldown of all Starship powers when you activate this skill. Cooldown of 1 minute on that effect, and everything else I think is passive, sort of. Passive effect, Starship powers make your enemies vulnerable, causing them to take 10% more damage, so all of your other powers here, your Incendiary Cluster Bomb, your Strafe, and your Signature, all make targets vulnerable. You also got crit rating and energy damage rating being applied based on the number of points in the skill. There's the scaling on that at 20 points. You and your allies will also gain accuracy when you critically or brutally strike. Very cool. Alright, next up we've got Orbital Strike. And once I go over this, I'm going to show you the strength of Starship Uplink here. Orbital Strike, call in a lethal and awesome Orbital Strike from the Milano, dealing energy damage. It's also stunning targets. It's got a cooldown of 25 seconds. It's of course a signature power, so its damage increases with points put into your ult. Very cool. Alright, now the strength of Starship Uplink, as I was saying, is the fact that it refreshes all of your Starship cooldowns. So, Orbital Strike, Incendiary Cluster Bomb, and Strafe will all get refreshed when you pop Starship Uplink. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Huge burst potential. Again though, you can refresh the cooldown on that, but you cannot stack the damage over time effects from Incendiary Cluster Bomb. Alright, finally we've got the Elemental Gun Tree. Things get a little bit crazy here, but I think I figured out a way to explain all this. Maybe. Let's put that there. Alright, now, you've got 4 elements here. Air, earth, fire, and water.
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet! Go Planet!
When you use one of these abilities, they will load the gun with ammo, which will then affect these abilities over here: Elemental Shot, Elemental Barrage, and Elemental Blast. Before we load our gun though, let's go ahead and just take a look at these 3 abilities and see what they do on their own right. Elemental Shot is a basic ranged attack with dealing some energy damage, a 3.1 rate of fire. Nothing too special about that. Elemental Barrage is it's a barrage attack. High rate of fire, low damage, Spirit Spender. You've seen one of these before. Finally, we've got Elemental Blast, which again is a charge up attack, something we've seen before, dealing some energy damage and increasing damage when fully charged. Alright, here's what those look like without any ammo. Elemental Shot. Elemental Barrage. And Elemental Blast. Alright, so what happens if we load our gun with a little bit of ammo? Let's start off with air ammo. This is going to affect Elemental Shot by causing it to bounce to up to 4 targets. Cannot repeat targets. It'll affect Elemental Barrage by increasing its attack speed by 50%. And it'll affect Elemental Blast by causing it to pierce. It becomes Piercing Blast. Of course, the loading the ammo itself has its own cool little stuff that it does. So let's load the ammo up and see what we come out with. Well, that lagged for a bit. Let me get a better shot of that. As you can see, it bounces up to 8 times. These ammo things, they've got a cooldown of 8 seconds, so you can only switch ammo every 8 seconds or load new ammo every 8 seconds, and it looks like the ammo only lasts for 8 seconds as well. That's a new change. But you see this ammo bar comes up here, and you have, I guess, 8 seconds to use it up or it goes away. It's probably about 10 seconds to use it up before it goes away. Alright, so what about Elemental Shot? There's the load, and there's the shot. And Elemental Barrage, load, and shoot. That one uses up fast, because that increased 50% attack speed. Alright, and finally Elemental Blast, load, and fire. Piercing multiple targets. You get about 3 shots out of a full clip. Alright, next we've got Earth Ammo. And it's going to work the same way with Elemental Shot, Elemental Barrage, and Elemental Blast. Just this time it'll be loading it with Earth. Let's quickly look at the tooltips before we load up. Earth damage per shard in an area. That's what you're going to get with Elemental Shot. It'll make more sense once you've seen it. This one's pretty nice. It's Shrapnel Shot. Okay, cool. Elemental Barrage is going to cause the damage from Elemental Barrage to increase based on your area damage rating. Now, I don't have any gear on right now, so my damage is not being increased. But if you do spec for area damage on your Star-Lord, you can make use of that damage with a single target skill using Earth Ammo. So that's pretty cool. And finally, Elemental Blast with Earth Ammo becomes Seismic Blast, which I think it mostly increases the range. Oh, yeah, it makes it a huge AoE splash. Alright, so let's see that in action. Load up with Earth. Fire some shots. There's the Splinter Shot. I love that ability. That's incredible, actually. Let's just. I really like this. Let's show that off again. That Shrapnel Shot's fun. Alright, and Elemental Barrage. Nothing too fancy visually. It's just mostly going to be the damage rating increase based off area damage. And then Elemental Blast. Load up, fire away. Huge area of effect on this. And back to regular ammo. Alright, next up we've got fire. Now, fire is a little bit interesting. With Elemental Shot, it's going to mostly just... it'll cause each hit to regenerate some health. With Elemental Barrage, it takes the damage and turns it into a dot instead of flat damage. Now, I don't know how much more damage it might do than the regular attack. I don't know. That there's math there. Ugh. And then with Elemental Barrage, or Elemental Blast, rather, these sort of work together. Elemental Blast will turn into Thermal Blast and do energy damage that increases by 30% for each stack of Ignition Barrage, consuming the effects. Ignition Barrage, of course, is what Elemental Barrage turns into with fire ammo. So, first off, let's have a look at Elemental Shot with fire ammo. You see the health restore effect when I shoot. And now Elemental Barrage. Alright, now stacked on one target. See, you can only get up to 5 stacks of that dot going at a time. Now there was a... oh, that was... I ran out of ammo. That's what that heavy shot was from. Okay. Now, the combination of Elemental Blast and Elemental Barrage with fire ammo. First off, let's do Elemental Blast with just fire ammo. You see, it does not pierce. It has a small, very small, not even far enough to reach these, I guess, AoE, because it is an area damage. Alright, but if we apply some dots with Elemental Barrage, and then charge up, oh man, huge brutes. That was incredible that it actually brutaled there for a minute. All right, let's do one more of that. All right, got to stack up, and boom. So that scales the damage incredibly. All right, next up we've got water ammo. Now this is our last type of ammo. It's going to affect Elemental Shot by causing it to restore Spirit. It's going to affect Elemental Barrage by doing increased damage with Elemental Barrage versus slowed targets. And it's going to affect Elemental Blast by causing it to create a slow patch that slows for 40% and has an area duration of 8 seconds. So these, with water ammo, will sort of work in an inverse type way to the fire ammo. Water and fire, inverses of each other. Alright, so let's load up some water ammo and see what Elemental Shot looks like. Alright, now Barrage. Now Blast. You can see you can slow a fairly large area with a full clip of water ammo, but that's usually not what you're going to want to do. What you're going to want to do is slow once and then go to town with Barrage for increased damage, which of course, as we said, was the inverse of the fire ammo, where you want to use Barrage and then hit with a big blast. Alright, so that's Star-Lord's elemental gun tree. It's a little bit complex, and I'm not entirely sure where I'm gonna be able to fit all the hotkeys for this stuff. Honestly, this tree intimidates me a bit, but I look forward to figuring out a way to make it work. Alright, last up, we've got Secret Weapon. It's going to give you 800 damage rating when you pop it. You'll also gain unlimited spirit and unlimited ammo for elemental gun powers. It's got a buff duration of 15 seconds, and it's going to work similarly to Scarlet Witch's ult, where it will destroy any enemy in the vicinity. It will also do huge amounts of damage to a boss type monster and stun them for 3 seconds. I'm going to head on over to one of the boss dummies, because I don't want to, normally I show them off, the ult here, but you guys know what a minor enemy getting annihilated looks like. Let's go see if we can get the damage number to show up on Secret Weapon. What's a good ammo to start with? Let's do fire ammo. Let's do it with fire ammo. So we got the unlimited fire ammo. And finally out of ammo. Alright. Now, of course the boss didn't die because I have no gear on. But that was Star-Lord. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Don't let him get away. We have to attack now.
Let's go over
Just
a few
go.
of his
Fall back.
voice things
It's
here at the
getting
end.
pretty hairy over here. Assistance would be nice. Just you and me, one-on-one. What do you say? You're not gonna want to miss this. Do I look like the bragging type? Because I totally am. Oh, great. Could you be any more annoying? Thanks. We could use more people like you in the universe. I like your style. Good stuff.
He's got one here that I let's see.
Not bad for a half-human, don't you think?
No, it's the next one. This one's cool.
I deal with cosmic threats and Rocket on a daily basis. What did you expect? Keep your guns blazing till the smoke clears.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, Star-Lord, he'll be out probably tomorrow. Tomorrow or the next day, along with the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, Rocket Raccoon's level 52 review, and all that jazz. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to rate, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'm gonna get started on the Rocket Raccoon and the Guardians of the Galaxy team up videos. So look forward to those throughout the rest of the night. Until next time, take it easy. Have a good one. Peace.